Um, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us this morning. My name is Sanjay Garla. I'm a vice president with SEIU United Service Workers West. We've all seen the reports around the country that show that immigrant communities and communities of color are disproportionately represented in the COVID-19 death tolls. It's heartbreaking to see all these reports coming out. And here in California, while nationwide, while many service workers from these communities have been laid off, those who remain behind are struggling with a combination of exposure at work, lack of access to healthcare, higher rates of asthma, diabetes, and other health conditions. And as we know, this forms a deadly combination for immigrant Black and Brown communities. However, today, we're holding this briefing. This briefing isn't meant to be doom and gloom. This briefing is actually meant to uplift an opportunity to chart a different course in California. We believe that it's possible to chart a different course for the tens of thousands of low-wage airport workers who are coming from these immigrant Black and Brown communities. If we can, if Victoria Martinez, I want to hand the mic over to Victoria, who's a cabin cleaner working for ABM Aviation and servicing United Airlines at SFO. Victoria, are you on?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
An employee, a coworker I work with, was diagnosed with COVID-19, and we had a briefing, and the supervisors brought us into the break room. They gave us a memo saying March 23rd, a coworker had COVID-19, yet we were not given this letter until April 3rd. And on the letter, it also said, do not talk to the press, which I think was done purposely. I think they purposely didn't want to tell us. They kept on saying in the briefing that we've all passed the 14-day mark. There's no one with symptoms. You guys are fine. And we were all sharing a break room. We all share the same break room. We sit there. We have the same time lunches. And another thing is that I refused to go on a plane from China. We were meant to clean it. I refused to go on it because they didn't give me a mask, and I refused to go on it. And they said, if you don't go on it, you will get written up. So I went. I didn't want to lose my job. I didn't want to get written up. And that just brings me to another point where they're not providing us the proper PPE equipment to go on a plane, to clean. Sometimes not even enough time, because we'll do quick turns, have 5 minutes to go get on the plane, sometimes just only pick up the trash and walk out. And with all these layoffs that I understand they have to happen, but there's 3 or 4 of us on a team being forced to clean a plane in sometimes less than 5 minutes, and that's not enough time at all for us. They expect us to disinfect it and sanitize it, but we're only given 5 minutes sometimes. And I just feel like they don't care at all about their employees. I mean, during this whole outbreak, I've been given 1 mask. The rest I had to take from Process Center. I had to open the in-flight kits and take them myself. They don't care.
We have Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren on the phone, and I wanted to open some space here for you to speak. Are you still with us?
I am. Thank you so much for hosting this call and giving us the opportunity to hear directly from these workers. As you know, we have divided government in Washington. The House of Representatives has a Democratic majority, the Senate a Republican majority, and so we've had negotiations between the House and the Senate on things that we think are important in these disaster relief bills. One of the focuses that the House has had, led by our Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, is to focus not on the corporations, but on the actual workers who are bearing the brunt of this pandemic. And key to that is to make sure that contract workers are included in any relief package that we adopt.
With that, I want to hand it over to Congresswoman Lee. If you can figure out how to unmute yourself, you could press *6.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank goodness. I've been listening. And let me tell you, first, thank you so much for this call. And yes, as you said earlier, people of color are more likely to be, first of all, excuse me, working in these jobs, but also living in neighborhoods exposed to environmental hazards like polluted air and increasing the risks of asthma and of course, all of the underlying health conditions that we recognize. So we have to have a comprehensive approach to make sure that workers are treated fairly and that you receive the type of benefits and priority in the federal bills that we're working on. And so I just want to reiterate and say to you that you come first. You're the priority in all of our legislation. And while these employers who are receiving a bailout, they must, there's no way that they cannot provide paid sick leave and paid sick days to their workers during this public health crisis. And they've got to provide the back wages, back pay, wage replacement for airport workers who have been out of work due to the crisis. So just thank you again very much for the sacrifices that you're making, but also for the inspiration that you're giving us and for the input that you're giving us so that we know that our strategies and what we're putting forth in policies are going to help you and make sure that you have the type of resources that you need during this very dangerous and serious moment. So thank you all again.
I want to next move to Jovan Houston, who is a worker over at LAX Airport. Jovan, if you,
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me? Right.
Yep.
Hey guys, I work at Terminal 5 at LAX. I deal with passenger service, so I'm at checkpoint dealing directly with passengers at day-to-day. So I'm in close contact with the virus that I can get. With that being said, my son has asthma, and I don't know if you guys are aware of the Cudahy incident where they dropped fuel in Cudahy, which is kind of close to Watts, where my son goes to school at. He suffered big from that. So I cannot bring this virus home to my son. I'm scared every day. When I come home from work, I literally strip at the door and go straight to the shower and put my clothes right in the wash. Also, I'm affected. My hours have been cut. I was a full-time employee. Now I'm down to 18 hours. So, you know, I'm clipping coupons, I'm pinching and shopping at different stores just to, you know, make ends meet. But it's greatly affected my life tremendously.
So I want to hand the mic over to Carla Sanchez, who is laid off baggage handler at LAX.
Yeah, I'm just very worried about how am I going to pay bills and all that stuff, you know, and the pandemic like this. And also, I feel that these companies should take some type of responsibility to bringing us back to work. And, you know, it's very, very overwhelming to sit here not knowing what's going to happen and how we're going to pay bills and everything. And, you know, it's very hard.